This video is going to be about deciding what child is right for you. Now, I think there are a lot of things to consider with that. You know, when Kenny and I started our adoption journey, we weren't picky at all. We just wanted to be parents. We had no specific race, gender, none of that. However, we were specific with the age. We wanted a child that was less than, what did we say, 6 months, a year? Young. But we said that because of our dogs. And I think trauma can happen at a very early age. And fear can set into children very young. I was not going to bring a child here that had an embedded fear in them of dogs. I just could not do it. Fear is a real thing. And to a small child that cannot communicate things with you, cannot communicate things to you, it's not fair to them. It's just not fair. My daughter, around our dog, she acts like they don't even exist. I mean, our dog, Brooklyn, almost weighs the same amount as me. When she barks, it's like the house shakes. She acts like she does not even hear this animal. It means nothing to her. Large dogs run up to her outside. She just laughs. But that's because she's used to them. You will have another child that has never seen a large dog in their life and they are terrified. And so that's why we were very specific about the age. It had nothing else to do with them because we knew our dogs aren't going anywhere. Our dogs are also like our children. So there are a lot of things to consider when you are adopting a child. You have race, gender, age, siblings, multiples, single, special needs, and drug exposure. So race. To me, this could probably be the most important one because if you're adopting as a couple and one of the two of you is open to any race, but the other is hesitant, it's not going to work. If you are adopting as a couple, but your family, you know, has certain bias towards Blacks or Hispanics or Asians, whatever it is, something that is different from you, or whites if you are Black, it's not working because that child is going to be singled out. And it's very important that you acknowledge that. It's very important that you acknowledge that for that child's sake, for that child's safety. So you really have to take into consideration that it's much more than just being a parent. It's much more than just wanting a child. So it's much more than just saying, we don't see color. Everyone sees color. And it's not to say that you're going to treat a child any different, but understand that your child is going to be around you, your family, your friends, and your child needs to feel welcomed in all spaces, loved in all spaces. They're already going to know that they're different if they look different. So they need to not feel like they're being singled out. So you need to really, really take that into consideration. Like, if I'm going to adopt a child that's not my same race, am I just going to be able to love this child? We were open to any race. I was going to love him regardless. You know what I'm saying? It was just going to be my child. And that was going to be that. Gender. I see a lot of times people are very specific. I want a boy or I want a girl. Sometimes that's because they have biological children and they may have 3 boys and they really want a girl. Or they just have always just really wanted a daughter. You know what I mean? So listen, if you really want a son or if you really want a daughter, be specific. And to me, it's like, be honest. Be honest about it. Age. Infant adoption is very common, especially in the private sector. Um, Unfortunately, in foster care, there are a lot of older children that they age out because people are afraid necessarily of what they may bring into their home as far as past trauma, and they're afraid of that, unfortunately. So yeah, that's a factor to that is something to take into consideration when you are adopting. In the private sector, there aren't many older children placed. You do see siblings, which is, the next one. Multiples or siblings. Multiples can be twins, triplets, and those are usually infants. But you do have siblings that are placed in the private sector sometimes, and it could be a family that's looking to place a newborn along with an older sibling, and that does happen. So you just have to be, if you say you're open to it, you have to be open to it. You know what I mean? So be open. Special needs. Special needs comes in so many different spectrums. You can have a mild case of autism to a severe case of cerebral palsy. So when you say special needs, exactly what do you mean? Because sometimes that takes a lot of care. That takes a lot that you by yourself, you and your spouse may not be equipped to handle. You know what I mean? So you might need to be very specific with your consultant or your attorney or your agency as to what you really mean when you say, I am open to special needs. Because there's more to it than just, I'm open to special needs. Drug exposure. Drug exposure and alcohol exposure to me are I wasn't open to it. We weren't open to it. But I think it depends on how you look at it. Some people, they won't be open to drug exposure, but they'll be open to alcohol exposure, when fetal alcohol syndrome can do more harm to a child than some drugs. So if you are open to it, just be willing to really learn and understand that just because a mom or a father, because the father's drug use can affect the child also. Just understand that not all children that are exposed to it have any type of ailments. They don't have not all of them have any type of special needs. Not all of them are born addicted to things and need special type of care and treatment or therapies. They're just not all like that. They're not all born preemies. They don't all go through withdrawal. I think that's a misconception that people have, and that's just not true. So I think you kind of have to educate yourself on it. But when you said that you are open to it, you have to be open to the ones that are born and they're going to go through withdrawal, and they are going to be born early, and they're going to have special needs. So it comes on two different spectrums, so you're going to have the ones that are going to be born fine, and you're going to have the ones that are not going to be born fine. But if you say that you're open to it, be open to it either way. You understand what I mean? So open is open. So again, when you are deciding the child that you want, make sure that you were just like, I'm good either way. So I would love to hear what you guys had preferences with when you were speaking to either your agencies or attorneys, because I know we had a whole list of preferences, because I'm so picky and I'm so specific with everything in my life. So if you can just leave some comments down at the bottom on some of your, like, if you really wanted a girl or if you wanted a boy, or if you were open to special needs, if you weren't, if you can just let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read them and get back to you. Again, Um, Hi. She's so cute. If you can just, oh, you're waving? Okay. If you can just leave those in the comments below. Again, if you could go ahead and just like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notifications. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.